Well, that's REM and Everybody Hurts on 105.4 megahertz FM Rainbow. To our listeners, we have Dr. Peter Castellano here in the studios. And like I said earlier, we Facebook page and on YouTube page, FM Rainbow Goa. And a big hi to those of you who are watching us live as well. In fact, Doctor and me are matching. Coincidence.
Hey.
I think, Doctor, you were prepared wearing yellow because
I
today
was,
it's the color, like you said,
was.
of World Suicide Prevention. And I actually didn't know. So I guess
Match it perfect.
matched perfectly. So, Doctor, tell us about the day, World Suicide Prevention Day, that's been observed not only across Goa but beyond around the world as well. And since you are into mental health, you come across so many people who are kind of faced with this situation, when difficult times. Is it more during this time of COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you, Bambino, for inviting me to the studio and to kind of talk on a subject which to many people is very taboo, and people really don't like to talk about this. But it's so really nice to see that people opening up and they actually allowing us to come and talk on this topic, which affects millions of people. I mean, if you go to see every year around 8 lakh people die to suicide around the world, and 100 times more that number actually are thinking and contemplating dying. So we're talking about a huge problem, and in India, if you go to see, it's almost 17% of the world's suicides come from India. So it is not something that we can take lightly. And we in Goa, I mean, we have this happy-go-lucky culture, but surprisingly, our suicide rate is much higher than the national average. So there are people who are hurting over there. There are people who are going through troubled times. There are people who are going through this, this hopelessness, this sense of helplessness, and it's like they need someone who can be there to be in their pain, and to reach out to them. And that's what this whole day is all about, to say that, yeah, even if you're hurting, it's okay not to be okay. Just reach out. There are people around there who are there to help you. And to the whole world, let's not stigmatize people going, experiencing these kind of distresses, because we all go through it at some point in our life. Let's just walk with people in their pain, and sometimes just as they talk about it, they feel better. But sometimes we can just point them out to a mental health professional, and it's okay to take help. I mean, even from a psychiatrist, from a psychologist, it's okay. I mean, gone are the days when people would say, "Oh, you're going to a mad doctor." No more. I mean, now you're just going to look after your mental health, which is such an integral part of your life. Yes.
Well, Doctor, you just said that the problem. Even I didn't know that it was like so much in Goa.
Yeah.
But what's the age? I mean, is there like a particular section, like maybe in the teenagers or in middle age,
Yeah.
or
So suicide takes place across all ages. It's much higher in older people, because as you grow older, your kind of support system reduces. Your comrades have slowly, one by one, they're passing away. Your own spouse may have gone, and the sense of loneliness sets in. And suicide is definitely much higher in older people. But what is interesting is that in India, suicide is the leading cause of death in young people between the ages of 15 to 29. And if you look at the student deaths, last year in 2019, we lost 9,300 students to suicide across India. So it's huge. And when I say 9,300, think of 8 colleges, each college having around 1,200 to 300 students. So imagine the students of all these 8 colleges dying to suicide. That is the number, the loss that we're having. And this is a very preventable condition. It's a very preventable act. And therefore, we need to raise this awareness among everyone, because the whole thing is that if you're thinking of suicide, most people, around 80% people who have attempted suicide, have actually spoken about the intention to somebody. So if they have spoken it out, they have not got the right kind of help. So we as a society, we need to be alert to these signs, to these warning signs, that if someone is talking about dying, take it seriously. Don't just brush it aside and say, no, it will pass away, don't worry. I mean, that's a very simplistic answer. But we need to take it seriously. We need to ask him, okay, you've been talking about dying. You're saying things like, I'm feeling fed up of life and I just feel like running away. I wish I was not born. What do you mean by that? What's happening in your life? What's going on? And very often people will begin to express those emotional turmoils that are going on, which they've kind of buried and suppressed. And now they have a chance to express it. And sometimes just that's what they require, to diffuse that stress, that negativity within themselves. So if we can just befriend them and listen to them, I think most often when people give us a problem, our whole idea is to give them a solution.
Correct. Yeah. I think nobody wants to just listen and just give them a hearing, patient hearing.
Right, you're right. And I think we need to stop giving advice because advice comes from our perspective.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But what we think is right and wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
And it may not match what that person is going through.
True. Right.
So I think what you said is really right. We need to listen.
Yeah.
Which is so tough.
In fact, many a times, many of my friends, they say, you don't talk, man. I said, I have just 1 month, so I just shut up. You tell me after 2 years, I'm going to listen to you. But I think also talking about, like you said, the colleges, students have a lot of stress. I think it also comes in not only from as peer pressure, but maybe even like parents, those guardians, maybe those who are pushing them beyond what they can achieve.
It's multi-layered. It's multi-layered. It starts from society and the whole concept of what is right and wrong, what is defined as failure and success. You need to look a particular way to be beautiful. You need to have a certain percentage in your academics to feel successful. You need to get into certain streams in life to be to be successful. And I think these concepts are actually added the pressure on people. And then yes, the peer pressures, their parental pressures there. I mean, it's too complex. And then the academics and just a lot of young people, they just find it so difficult to fit in.
Yeah, to cope with that
and
pressure.
To cope with it. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Because since you spoke about achieving and academics, you like to tell our listeners, also those who are joining us on YouTube and Facebook. Me personally, when I was in my 12th standard, I failed miserably. But I mean, it depends on how you take life, how you face it, and But I think for the moment, we'll break off for a song.
Right.
But just to our listeners, in case you are listening in, okay, and you would like to pick up your phone. In fact, there's a lovely song by Sonia Sirsat. It's called Pick Up the Phone. But if you want to message us on the show right now, 838-007-1. If you have anything to ask Doctor, you can always do that. So that's 838-007, James Bond, and 1054. I'm going to play a song that Doctor's favorite as well. It's a Josh Kumar song. It's called You Raise Me Up. And we'll see you in just a bit. We'll pause that.